In our current game, I'm creating a single platform and I'm manually placing this platform somewhere on the screen. I'm enabling physics for this platform, and then I'm performing collision detection between the player and that single platform. Now, in most platformer games that you might have played, there are multiple platforms. There might be hundreds of platforms. So we don't want to have to be defining collision for each one of them. The way to do that is to create a group, to put all the platforms in a group. And then we only check collision against the group, and we do it just once, instead of having to do it for each one of the platforms. Same thing with enabling physics. We can enable physics at once for all the platforms. So in this part of the code where I'm creating the platform and allowing gravity and all these sort of things, I'm going to replace this with a group. The group will be created from an array. So imagine that you have an array called platform, let's call it platform data. And this is an array that contains information of all the different platforms that there will be in the game. I'm going to copy and paste the coordinates of each one of the platforms. So we have these different platforms. One that goes placed in X and Y in these coordinates and so forth. And then what we want to do is create a group that will have all of these platforms in it. So this group will be called platforms. These.platforms will be a group. That's this.add.group. And for each one of these elements, I want to create add a new entry to my group. But I want my group to have physics enabled. So I want all of the platforms to have a body. And groups in Phaser have this method. If you've enabled the physics engine, you can enable physics for a whole group by typing in enabled body equals true. By doing this, all the elements that I create in this group will already have a body. So platform data will use for each to iterate through each one of the elements, right? And each one of the elements, let's call this element. Each one of these elements will have we'll add an element to our group for each one of these elements. We also need to pass the context. So this will be platform. Let's create a variable. Let's create a variable here called platform. So we don't have to create a new variable on each iteration. We'll just reusing this. Actually, we don't even need to do that. That was from a previous version of the code. All we need to do is type in this.platforms.create and then element.x, element.y. They all use the platform asset key because that's being loaded here, platform. We use that one. And this should be enough to show all these different platforms. But hey, we haven't enabled, collision, we haven't enabled gravity, disabled gravity, so we're going to do that all at once. And the way to do that is actually very simple. We can just type in this.platforms. Set all allows you to set a property for all the elements of the group. What we want to set is body.immovable. This will be set to true. And then these.platforms set all body.allow gravity false. So they don't have gravity, they cannot be moved by collision. Now the last part is to actually make them collide with the player. So instead of having this.platform in here, I need to have this.platforms. And you can see now that that we have this working the way we want. So to summarize, if you have many elements of the same type and they're all going to have some sort of collision, think of bullets in a spaceship game, different enemies, platforms, then the easiest way to work with that is just to create a group and for all the elements of that group, then set the properties that you want and set the collision in update to the whole group instead of the single sprite. By using arrays to define the data of your level, you're making it more extensible, more easy to extend. What we'll do later in this course is actually load all this data from an external text file. So then you can just change the text file and it changes the level.